Hi, hello. We're back for part 2 of our curriculum picks for this school year. Part 1 was super fun to make. I learned a lot. I got some good feedback. I have a microphone now. We're learning, we're growing, and I think this video is going to be even better. Okay, so today we're talking about our grade-specific curriculum picks. In the last video, I talked about the resources that we use during our morning basket time. Some people just call it morning time. Really, it's just the subjects that we do together as a group. So if you haven't seen that yet, you can go watch that next. But today we're going to talk about curriculum that we've chosen specific to each grade level that my children are at. I have 3 kids. One is starting 6th grade, one is starting 4th grade, and one is starting 3rd grade. So each of them have grade level specific work they have to do during the day too, like math, reading, language arts, writing, all the things. So that's what we're going to cover today. So right after morning basket, we go straight into our grade specific curriculum. They sit down at this table and we take out usually Fix-It Grammar first. This has been one of the best things I've added to our curriculum picks. We started it last year and it has been really wonderful. It's easy to add, they're short lessons, and the kids are picking it up so fast, and the stories are fun too. So the idea with Fix-It Grammar is that each year the kids go through a full story and go line by line, looking for nouns, adjectives, adverbs, prepositional phrases, using capitalization and punctuation. It practices 1 to 2 sentences a day, and then by the end of the year, you've gone through the entire story. So this year, both of my boys are on the Town Mouse and Country Mouse level, and my oldest in 6th grade is doing Robin Hood this year. And they're picking it up so fast and they love it. It takes us maybe 10-15 minutes to work through, and then they practice rewriting the sentence with any corrections. It's very simple, very straightforward, and the kids really enjoy it. In my last video, I talked about costs at the end of the video, and this one I think I'm going to do it a little bit different and tell the cost of each resource as I'm going. So for Fix-It Grammar, since they're all doing different levels, I actually already had the teacher's manual for Town Mouse and Country Mouse since my daughter did it last year. So I just needed the student workbooks for those for both of my boys. And then I needed the teacher's manual and workbook for my daughter. Fix-It Grammar level 3, which is my daughter, for Robin Hood was $29 for the teacher's manual and the student workbook. It's very reasonably priced for such an awesome curriculum. Level 2 for each of my boys, I only needed the workbook, and those were $19 each. I did get a little bit of a discount because I got them at a local convention here, but it was only 5%. So my total came out to $63.65 for all of our Fix-It Grammar books. So once they're done with Fix-It Grammar, they all start math, usually. Sometimes they do this a little out of order depending on the day, but usually what comes next is math. And I have been doing teaching textbooks with my oldest since she was in 3rd grade, I believe. Last year I added my middle guy when he started 3rd grade, and this year I'm adding my youngest in 3rd grade. The 3rd grade math is the lowest level that teaching textbooks offers, so that's when I'm starting all my kids. This may not be appealing to everybody because it is on an iPad or computer or laptop, however you want to do it. I have my kids use iPads. So some people are not super thrilled about the whole screen thing, and I totally get that, but it has worked so nicely for us. It gives me a little bit of a break after our morning basket when I've been talking for at least an hour and a half straight, and the kids can take their iPads, sit down, listen to the lecture that comes with each lesson, and then do the math, and it's graded right there as they're doing it. So they can see what mistakes they're making as they make them, if they make them, and then it gives them a percentage grade at the end. I usually have them redo any lessons that they score lower than 85% on. That's just personal preference for me. I can go into the teacher's dashboard and I can restart the lesson. So they'll do it again if they get lower than 85. Most of the time they don't, and we can just go through any questions that they got wrong and discuss why it was wrong. And that usually doesn't take much time at all. There have been times where I've had to sit down and work through the lesson with them, but usually it's a nice time for me to be able to have a little bit of a break, and they're still working and they like the independence of it. So that's worked really well for us. It is all online. You can print lessons, but as far as cost, level 6 for my daughter, 6th grade math, was $58.95. Both my boys are one on level 4, one on level 3. They both cost $45.95 each. I got the convention discount also with this one. So the total for all 3 kids for math this year was $135.77. Okay, then we usually move on to reading, or sometimes I rotate. So while one kid is doing something else that can be more independent, I do reading with another kid. Both my boys are still working their way through All About Reading, which I cannot recommend more. It has made such a huge difference, especially for my middle guy. I suspect he may have just a touch of dyslexia, and since All About Reading is an Orton Gillingham structured curriculum, it's really well suited for people with dyslexia. They have multiple learning styles mixed in. There's flashcards, there's activities and games, there's reading pages, there's reader books. It's got it all. And it has been really wonderful for both my boys. I didn't do it with my oldest, and I really kind of regret it because now she has some spelling issues that we're having to correct this year. So she's actually doing a spelling curriculum, and I'll get to that. But both the boys are still working through All About Reading. My middle guy is at the very end of level 3, working into level 4 this year. And my youngest is working a tiny bit on level 2 that he didn't quite finish last year, and then he'll be moving into level 3. I don't worry too much about them meeting levels to match their grade for the year. I just want them to be solid readers. If it takes them a little bit longer, so be it. We just move things around and we do lessons split up. Like one lesson will take multiple days. So it makes it much more approachable for them. My guy who's doing level 4 in 4th grade, level 4, I needed all of the material. I needed the student workbook, the teacher's manual, and the readers. So I needed all of the equipment for it. That came to $160. For level 3, since I already had my middle guy do level 3 last year, I only needed the student workbook for level 3 for my youngest, and that was $42.95. So altogether, it came to $192.80 for reading for both my boys. For reading for my oldest, she has always been a pretty solid reader, aside from the whole spelling issue, but that's mostly comes out when she's writing. She's a pretty solid reader. She reads all the time. She's got at least 5 books in rotation right now. I just pretty much require her to read for a period of time every day, at least a chapter, but she always exceeds that. So I don't have a specific reading curriculum for her in 6th grade. Now, as far as that spelling issue, I went through, what was the name of that curriculum? Ordinary Parents Guide to Teaching Reading, and as much as I really liked it when I was doing it with my oldest, it really didn't give her much writing practice or phonetic practice, if I can remember. I could be wrong. It's been a while since we went through it, but it did result in some spelling issues with her. A big, huge light shined on it last year when she started doing IEW for writing. I could really tell she needed some help. So this year I added in specific spelling for her. And since she really enjoyed IEW, I ended up going with their spelling curriculum, and it's called Phonetic Zoo. And she's only been doing it for maybe a week, and she has enjoyed it so far. And why I went with this one is, one, because she's obsessed with animals and the idea of a phonetic zoo, and they have literal animals on the flashcards. I knew she would love that, and she did. Also, it's by IEW, so I knew that the format would be kind of familiar to her. The process of listening to the lesson and then doing the writing makes it independent for her and very easy to work into our rotation. So far, the lessons seem quite short. She listens to the MP3 on her headphones and then does the writing and double checks herself. It even has a corrections audio in the MP3s. So it's very easy for us to work into the day, and she can do it independently, literally with no help from me. If I felt like I needed to, I could double check her work, but I don't feel like I do. She's very trustworthy, so she goes back and listens to the correction portion of the MP3, and she does it on her own. As far as pricing for Phonetic Zoo, I kind of did things a little out of order. I wasn't quite sure which one to select on their website, so I got what they call the budget package, which I didn't realize didn't come with the audio. So I got the budget package, and then I had to order the audio separately. So the budget package is $29 and the separate MP3s were $59. Pretty sure there's an option somewhere on their website to bundle those, and I just didn't see it. But the way I did it, it cost $88 for her spelling this year. She's also continuing with IEW's structure and style this year. Last year she did level A year 1, and this year she's doing level A year 2. She's very familiar with the structure this year. She can do it pretty independently. I have seen a huge improvement in her writing style just from doing it the 1 year, and I expect nothing different this year. And she has really enjoyed it. She thinks that the lectures are fun. The teacher is really sweet to the kids in the videos. It's a really well-made curriculum, and it's very well organized, and she has shown a lot of improvement with it. It does take the longest out of any of the other subjects that she's doing this year. This one takes her a good amount of time to work through. She's watching those videos for 30 to 40 minutes. Every once in a while, I do let her split the videos up a little bit more so that it's a little easier for her to work through them. Overall, she really enjoys it. So she's doing year 2 this year. That one cost $207.96. That one was not discounted. The boys are also starting IEW this year, but I wanted to start much slower with them. So I got one of their more beginner options, and it's called Bible Heroes. I have to work through this with them. There are no accompanying videos like there are with the structure and style method. They're getting kind of a basic introduction to the writing style that IEW teaches, where you have to make a keyword outline, and using that keyword outline, you rewrite a work in your own words. So the boys are doing Bible Heroes, and the teacher's manual and book was $35 each. So altogether, those ones cost $71.32, and I did get the 5% discount at the convention for that. All 3 of my kids are doing typing this year. This is something that I've started probably in 3rd grade for each of my kids. Once they're tall enough to sit at the keyboard and they are able to use the mouse, I start them on typing. I think it's a fun way to practice a little extra spelling, some fine motor skills, and it gives them yet another independent thing to do. While I might be doing reading with my 4th grader, my 3rd grader can be doing typing and vice versa, and they switch. So it works nicely for timing as well. I use Touch Type Read and Spell. It's another Orton Gillingham based typing program, kind of like All About Reading was Orton Gillingham based. This one is the same. It has lots of different ways for them to learn. They hear the word as they're typing it, they see it up on the screen, and then they're typing it out with their hands. So it really reinforces. It's also a little bit of extra spelling practice, which I appreciate. They really enjoy it. They work through the lesson in about 10 minutes each day that they do it. And it's another simple thing that we can add into the rotation for a little extra practice. I have the Homeschoolers bundle from them. So for all 3 kids, it's $179 for the full year. You can add up to 6 students on that plan. The last thing my boys are doing this year, my younger 2, 3rd and 4th grade, they're doing Cursive. And my daughter showed a lot of interest in Cursive much earlier. She started in about 2nd grade, so she's been doing it for a while now. I'm not having her do a Cursive specific book. She writes in Cursive on her own anyways. So the boys are the only ones doing it this year, and they're starting with my Cursive book. It's level 1 in my Bible Alphabet series. I have 3 Cursive books in my shop, so they're starting at the very beginning. Each of these books is $5, so it's not a huge investment, and there are so many benefits to Cursive. I wrote a whole blog post on it. It's a wonderful skill to have, and while my 4th grader isn't super enthusiastic about learning, I've talked to him about the benefits as well, and he understands, and he has actually enjoyed it since we started. The last 2 resources are specific to my daughter only in 6th grade. My boys didn't show as much interest in learning Latin as I would have hoped that they would. I really wanted to work Latin into our homeschool, but it didn't hit right with them. And so I took foreign language out of the rotation for them for this year until I figure out and they figure out what they want to learn about, probably Spanish or something like that. But my daughter still wanted to do Latin. So I did end up getting her the next level in the Latin course from Memoria Press. It's called Latina Christiana, I think is how you say it. So she's working through that on her own. There's a little CD that she can listen to, and then the workbook, and I even just hand her the teacher's manual for pronunciation, and she does that pretty independently as well. I'm not going to be strict about how quickly she works through the book or if she needs help, I will absolutely help her, but I'm kind of letting her have free reign with this so that she can go at her own speed. It was on a site sale. It was $104.68. Then last are her extracurriculars. She's doing piano through Hoffman Academy. She's been doing it for a few years now and really enjoys it. Again, this is another thing that I'm not forcing her to work through in a certain amount of time. She does it a couple of times a week. I ask her to practice at least every day. She's doing it at her own speed and really enjoying it. She has actually even started teaching one of her brothers some of the songs. And then she is also doing sewing with my mom once a week, which is really fun to watch. They've been doing that since she was 6 years old. So those are her extracurriculars. Obviously, sewing doesn't cost anything with my mom other than supplies, but the piano lessons with Hoffman Academy, I pay for the membership so that she also has access to some of the games and printables that she uses on a pretty regular basis. It also gives her access to some of the other songs that she can learn that aren't necessarily part of the lessons, and that costs $209. Okay, so those are all the resources we're using this year for 6th, 4th, and 3rd grade. Thanks for watching.